What up? It's gonna be a short one. Crazy week. I don't plug in to news other than to check local, national, world, and weather. That's it. Anything having to do with anybody else's life, I'm not too concerned with. Reason being is because I'm too busy trying to regulate the things that are going on in my life and in my world and in my orbit, surroundings, whatever you want to call it, to be overly concerned about what somebody else is doing, especially what people are doing in their bedrooms, what people are doing behind closed doors. I'm just not that interested. Because let me tell you something. Um, once I close my door, I don't want, and I wouldn't like people intruding on my personal life. But I get it. This is America. Some people are just super interested in what's going on in the world of others. And there could be reasons for that. I'll be fair. Some people just don't have anything else to do. And this is a way of entertaining themselves and kind of taking taking their mind off certain things that are going on in their worlds. And I get that. But at the same time, I also recognize that that people's personal lives are people's personal lives. The only thing that is different, in my humble opinion, with regards to that, are anybody who's in the limelight. So consider sports figures, entertainers, politicians. When you're out there in the public eye, I mean, you're going to get scrutinized, whether you like it or not. But private people, there's a reason why shades were invented. You feel me? People typically don't like strangers in their business. But then, in the age of social media and this social construct that we all find ourselves a part of, people seem to be more agreeable to engage and certainly more agreeable to expose some of what they're doing personally. I don't see the point in that. Don't. Even before social media was social media, I don't see a thing. I don't get the point of that. I grew up in an era of self-validation, and that's where you sought to strengthen. You get up in the morning, you give thanks for the grace and mercies that have been bestowed upon you, and then you express thanks for being able to have use of all your faculties. And then, of course, you give thanks to be able to live your day. And when you look in the mirror, you seek power from that. It's like a self-energizing battery, where you power your own entity. You power your own self. You power your day. You power your life. It's not contingent on anybody else. I wasn't on and didn't make a video last week because of a tragedy that was profound. And I'm not going to talk about it because there's already enough publicity and scrutiny, and because there's children involved. That's all I'm going to say about that. It was so bizarre, and just so painful on a personal level that it forced me to reevaluate what people think, because to some extent that tragedy was due in part to somebody's perception about what the world thought of them, and it started to have an impact, and the person started to spiral. And anybody, irregardless of who you are, what you do for a living, where you came from, who your parents are, what you like, what you don't like, who you love, who you hate, the reality is that if you start to spiral, meaning a mental health crisis spiral, it's very, very difficult to get out of. Those in aviation will automatically understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about stall training. It's essentially where you remove lift from the element of flight, and in an aviation environment, when you do that, the aircraft becomes a glider. When it doesn't have enough lift to glide, it dips. Usually one wing will drop because it can't sustain flight. They call that stall training. And there's a process that you have to engage very quickly, systemically, and effectively to be able to get out of it. Number one is you can't panic, right? The second part is you have to, add power and different things of that nature. And you can usually pull yourself out of the stall, usually before you get into a spin condition. When you get into a spin condition, it's challenging for even the most seasoned pilot. So using a mental health example, when you get into a spiral, man, trust me, I've been there. Fortunately for me, I had loved ones that recognized, wait a second, something's not right with him. Something's going on with him. We need to figure it out. And without me even knowing, because I wasn't even fully aware of just how bad things were until others got involved. So I'm grateful for that. And so when people get into these mental health spirals, if they don't have any resource, or if they don't seek out a resource, it can go from bad to worse very quickly. Very, very quickly. So I just want to jump in real quick. I'm driving from VA to NC, going towards the Outer Banks. And that was something that was on my mind to talk about. Was it a topic for this week? Nah, I wanted to talk about a guy named Fergie Oliver and a show called Just Like Mom. It aired in Canada years ago. That was just straight up weird. Dude had some proclivity under normal standards. It's amazing that this show was on the air for as long as it was, because I've never seen a more clear example of pedophilia than some of the scenes that I saw from that show. So we'll talk about that next in the next episode. But I wanted to really just chime in and double down on the conversation involving mental health in general, but mental health in particular, because if your mind isn't right, then so goes your health. You're not going to care about anything. And I've seen a lot of people spiral from that to the great beyond, the upper room, whatever you want to call it. And it doesn't have to be that way. The one thing I can tell you is that if you seek help, help will find you. If you don't seek help, may God have mercy on you. So with that, I bid you all to have a great day. Remember to keep your health balanced, your physical health balanced, and keep your mental health even more remarkably balanced, because this is a challenging time for each and every single one of us. Each and every single one of us, this is a challenging time. So I encourage you all to pay more attention to yourself, your own mental well-being. And of course, if you have relatives that, damn, it's hot. If you have relatives that you suspect are in the midst of a mental health crisis, intrude. Trust me, they won't mind. They are not going to mind at all if you intrude and be nosy with regards to what's going on with them. because you never want to be in a situation where you're sitting back going, damn, I noticed something was wrong. I should have said something. I was there last week. And you follow your instincts and you believe unseen, your instincts are never wrong. So typically, when you see something, when something is presented, and you're made aware of it through your senses, you feel something inside that's telling you everything about this situation is wrong. Engage. And not saying you have to be overly nosy and get into people's business and get to arguing with folks, but just let them know, hey, look, hey, is everything all right? Tell you what, look out for a little something to eat, right? Break bread. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Why isn't Gale Force Guns open? This guy's got a big duck. Look at this. Yeah, my man is on. Oh, he is open. Shit, I can't turn in. I'll get him on the way back. Yo, my man is wild. Gale Force Guns. He got a big duck on a truck. What you want? If you're ever in North Carolina and you go to Gale Force Guns, know what you want. That's for one thing, because he has everything you can imagine, and his prices are good. There's a lot of places down here that offer good prices if that's your thing, but he's one of the best, Gale Force. But jumping back on this mental vibe, wow, amazing! What a segue. Gale Force Guns. A lot of times, people that are mentally ill, they've passed all the prerequisite check marks to be able to exist in our society. And what do I mean by that? If they want to go get a gun, guess what? It's paperwork and fingerprints, right? It hits your local PD, your respective state PD, then the FBI's database, and then back. That's it. There's no type of psychological test that is connected to purchasing a firearm. If it were up to me, I would establish that would be a part of the process. Why not? Because you want to know if somebody is has all the correct mental faculties to be able to purchase, own, and ultimately possess a firearm. What's been happening, and there's case after case that will back up what I'm saying factually, there's too many cases where somebody who is not mentally mature, they own guns. And when you have that combination, it's no different from having a total drunk, and I'm talking about like sloppy drunk, have a gun on them. The result has the potential to be the same. So mental health is very important. Take care of yourself. Recognize your boundaries. Recognize some of the cues, the signs that will tell you that you're having a problem. And also, use your good common sense to be able to recognize when people that you care about and love are having some type of problem. Because typically they may not say nothing to anybody else, but they might to you. Mind you, sometimes things that are going on with people that are very personal, they usually have a person that they go and talk to. So just keep those things in mind. Like I said, we're in some trying times, right? And if a person is not very well grounded in who they are and what they do, it's going to be problematic. So again, if this helps, who it helps, where it helps, great. Because it's just a small effort that I'm undertaking to try to do something to add balance to the world and leave it a little bit better than what I found it. And with that, like, comment, subscribe. I'm very curious to see what you think about what I've had to say. Um, at the top of the conversation, I was talking about just involving yourself in people's personal matters. Mind your own business. Not unless it's some issue, some safety issue. Because let me tell you something. For as open as social media is and as nosy as a platform as the thought of social media is, imagine if, because a lot of people will open their shades to their lives, using a metaphor. They will go over to that window and open the shades of social media and beg you to look at them. But I guarantee you, if some of the people that looked through social media were to show up at these people's houses and peek through their blinds, they call up cops on them for being a peeping Tom. So what the F? I don't get that whole thought process or ideology, but that's how people think. And hell, if that's what you want to do, cool. Ain't hurting me. It just looks stupid. So again, like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned. Have some things for you to think about, talk about, discuss. If you don't like what I had to say, that's cool. Not like I care. But I do care about being able to help somebody and put people in position to be able to help others that may need your help. Love y'all. See you next time.